Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. As you can very well tell, I'm still wearing my beard white. Why? I'm keeping it real. The Washington Redskins are still in the playoffs. Even though they did not look that good, we got a slimmer, or a little hope in the quarterback that they played, Josh Johnson. For the next 30 minutes, we'll tell you why I'm keeping my beard white. We'll be back in a moment.
Geico makes it so easy to manage my policy. With an app that lets me pay my bill, add a vehicle, or even file a claim, it's not just easy. It's aerobics in a recliner easy.
And plank, smooth it, shimmy, and step, swivel. Keep it going. Kick, hold, kick it out, and kick.
It's not just easy, it's Geico easy.
Feel the bird.
For the Redskins fans of the week.
The Redskins! And yes, we're going to do it the rest of the way.
Coming for you. 4 games left. We're coming. We will be there.
I don't really worry about the noises or what people have to say. Everybody has an opinion. That's just part of life. It's really proving to myself. I mean, I always felt like I know what I can do on this field, but it's not about talking about it, it's about actually going to do it. So just having the opportunity to go do it was one more thing what I was excited about. And it's just a simple thing I always tell myself. The game is going to get played. You're either going to be out here and show up or you're not.
Coach Wooden said that this team is much better than the product that we saw here today.
Oh, definitely. Even it's the NFL. So even with all the injuries we have, and we can say a lot of things. The offensive line's been beat up. We haven't had our receiving core out there. We had 2 quarterbacks. Whatever the case is, it's still the NFL. These guys are professional football players, and we got to prepare ourselves each and every day to come out so we can execute the right way. Including myself. We gotta come out and just make sure we're on one accord.
You just look and you see guys continue to fight defensively and offensively. Scratching, trying to make play. I think defensively, they came out second half, and even though they gave up points, the guys were out there making plays as well. And offensively, you see third-string guys, fourth-string guys come in, and we're marching the ball out of the field, still being productive. That's a characteristic that doesn't really exist a lot. Normally guys will, tuck the tail and take the loss for what it is, and I didn't see that.
Well, we have to be truthful. One thing about it, the first 3 passes that our quarterback threw were dropped, and those were big parts of the game. At the same time, we stopped running the ball, didn't take the opportunity. Yes, Crowder, who dropped one of those passes, he had a big touchdown. But at the same time, look at the pressure that Mark Sanchez was under. You cannot operate that, especially in offense, when you don't really know the whole offense. So, Gary, tell me, what do you think about those receivers dropping the ball, and was that a big momentum switcher for the Giants?
You know what, Tony? The key word that you said was momentum. I think what happened is momentum did change. As a receiver, you do want, especially when you got a new quarterback coming in, you want to get them off to a good start, and to have those drop passes, it does hurt a little bit. But the key was momentum switch, and once momentum switches, it's kind of hard to get it back, as we saw by the end result of the score. But that was key. Momentum's key to always winning football games.
But I have to say, Tony, that execution and the chemistry, the Sanchez, this was a marriage that wasn't going to work from day one. They brought this guy in there, and he looked like that he was lost out there on offense. Beyond the receivers dropping the passes and everything, he just looked like he was uncomfortable in this Redskins offense. With the things that they knew about the quarterback, like you said, they should have ran the ball. This is something that the Redskins have gotten away from all season long, is really sticking to the strength of this team, and that is establishing the run, considering the injuries that they have in the offense. But the Sanchez, bad marriage from the beginning.
Well, they couldn't run the ball to begin with. They were trying. Peterson was ineffective. You're starting to see his age a little bit as the season progresses. But definitely, like you said, Donna, you have to develop chemistry with your teammates, and the drop passes and drop balls were part of that.
But see, I don't think that that AP age is a factor if they're not putting the ball in his hands, because when they do put the ball in his hands, he can make things happen. I just think that they don't run the ball when they should run the ball.
Interesting you should say that. You know, he's really not noted for his hands, but they've been throwing to him more, and he's been doing very well. Do you know what I learned from that game after all these years of watching pro football? I just assumed that a quarterback could come into a system, have an off season, learn the system, and go out and play well. When you look at what Josh Johnson did, because he knew the system, he'd played in Tampa Bay under Gruden, and you knew what the system was, and you saw how well he played versus Sanchez, who'd never played in that system. There is merit to learning a system and being able to play well in it, and it takes more than just an off season.
But Gary, you tell me if I'm wrong, is that knowing that you have these quarterbacks coming in here, don't you have to fit the offense around their capabilities and their talent, because they're not going to have the time to learn a system. Look, this is the thing. The Redskins offensively wasn't good before Alex Smith went down on offense. That offense had not gelled. It had not kicked into gear. They weren't that good. So now you got all these quarterbacks coming in here. Don't you want to kind of like form the offense around what they can do?
Yeah, I think so. But if for some reason, but if you don't do that, me as a quarterback, I'm going to form it around what I can do. Just as a receiver, I'm always going to form it around what I'm best at and how I get my job done. So I think it was important that there's a conversation there. I think the conversation could have took place with the receivers and we don't know what happened in practice week.
Right.
Hopefully he had that conversation. Hopefully they sit down and they met. But who knows? I really have no understanding if they met and they sit down and had that conversation. They started off good passes, drops. That's something that kind of happens. But at the end of the day, I'm so tired of excuses.
So you got it.
I'm just tired of excuses. You're professional. My job is to come out and figure it out. If I get hired, my job is to go out there and perform. It's just what it is. No matter if I'm first string, if I'm last string, if they brought me in last minute, my job as a professional is to come in to do my job. And I think that's what has to happen. They just have to do their job.
If I'm right, Josh Johnson is going to have an amazing game against Jacksonville, and I think I'm right. Knowing the system, knowing the timing routes, knowing the receivers, at least having receivers similar to that which he played with in Tampa, means a lot. I think he's going to have a very, very good game against Jacksonville.
Being comfortable in his own skin. He's comfortable in his skin.
Well, you said
that's
that
the
right.
key. He came out and be like, you know what? This is not what the play is. This, but that's not what was happening. So I'm going to turn the play into this. You can see he's going down. He's hitting 1, 2, 3 options. He's making the play with it. You know what? This is breaking down. I'm going to run. I'm going to pick it up. You're going to have to see me as a threat one way or the other.
But although the Giants, though, was playing soft zone and everything by the time he got in still. But I'm not taking away. But I'm not taking away from what he did, because he did come in and do some things where, like he said, he was comfortable in doing, which Sanchez wasn't, and he had more experience. But it's the penalties that's killing me. 130-some yards in penalties.
7 in the first half, Don.
And these are like the offensive line.
Well, the offensive
some of the veterans.
The offensive line's banged up. It'll be interesting to see what Gruden does. Will he play to Josh Johnson's strengths moving forward?
Well, he's playing his system from Tampa Bay.
Right, but will he do things that Johnson does well that other players that they had before
I think
don't?
What I saw with Josh Johnson was something I hadn't seen all along with the Redskins this year. That was a whole new offense out there we haven't seen all season long.
It looked like the same offense to me.
All right.
It didn't look no different.
Same offense with just different decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
It's often say different decisions. That's again like
which he made.
I'm going to make you. Like he's quite honestly, he's more similar to Alex.
Yeah.
I'm really true because Alex was like, if you don't give me what I'm taking, I'm gonna go ahead and run for it.
Yeah.
Will they run the triple option?
Having legs is important.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, I said that the offense got away from the run too quickly, but I want to ask about these offensive linemen. Now, 3 of them have been starters in one way or another for the last 2 years, so therefore, those 3 should be playing better than I think they're playing at this time. So when you take a look at this offensive line, what can they do to help them and enhance them to help this quarterback, whichever quarterback is in there in the next game? That's an important one, Don, and I know you want to throw people under the bus, but tell me what you think.
Tony, I don't know what you're talking about. I throw no one under the bus, but I tell the truth. Now, one thing that offensive line can do is stop jumping off sides and holding. That's one thing they could do because, like I said before, 130-some penalties. Not that that was all of them, but they have been hammered with injuries across the offensive line, so it's the next man up. And at the guard position, they're almost down to their, I don't even know their last one. But they need to run the ball. I think that's going to help the quarterback, that their fourth quarterback of the year, help him with settling down if they run the ball, but stop jumping off sides.
Can I ask you a question, Donna? These are big uglies now. Some of these guys are behemoths, and they're not used to really the old counter tray or motion. Why can't we just power block forward and create some small crevice for AP to run through? Why do they have to put these big guys in motion that aren't comfortable doing it? Instead, what's wrong with power blocking?
Or the trick plays, right?
My whole thing is just preparation.
Yeah.
I mean, people keep forgetting that these are professional athletes. These are professional football players. Some have years in the league, some don't, but at the end of the day, it is your job to prepare. Preparation is everything. I don't care what it is that you're doing. If I don't prepare for my job, I'm not going to play well at my job.
And they had an extra day.
Jumping off sides has nothing to do whether you put me in motion or I'm going straight ahead or not. It's just
discipline, right?
Yes, it's discipline. And understand that count, because if I do it one week, they're definitely going to try to get you to do it the next week. So the key to me is just preparing for your job.
And Mike, they had an extra day. They even went a little longer with practice during last week.
We heard about
knowing
that.
It was. And then they complained about that.
Some of the players were complaining
I can't understand
about
about why are you complaining about practicing when that's, if I practice 5 days a week, 6 days a week to prepare for a game, so what?
Well, in this team's case, they need more time practicing because among the guys on the offensive line, they don't have a lot of chemistry together.
No.
None. Well, and also leading the league in holding calls. Did you see that?
That's an issue as
Over
well.
30-some holding calls.
That's
they
not
lead
good.
the league in holding calls. And I can't tell you that over a third of those are Morgan Moses.
Yeah, you're right. But I think Gary hit it on is execution as far as preparation and the chemistry and all that. That all comes together. And I think everybody on that team in the organization has to take accountability for this. It's not just one person. Even if I'm that person that gives my all in all, if I don't have all my other teammates giving that same effort, you're going to have the type of game. They were still in the playoff chase, and they still are. But I couldn't tell on Sunday against the Giants that they were still in the playoff chase or that they wanted to be in there.
Make a statement against Jacksonville. Come out, bully them on the offensive line, and make a statement to win the game.
And you can do that because from a passing and rushing perspective, they are within 2 places of one another, 24th, 26th in passing, 17, 20 in rushing. They're very equally blended. Believe it or not,
So
Jacksonville has the
bad teams?
30th ranked defense in the league. We have the 9th. We should pound these guys.
Well, I can't tell, Mike. I don't even look at those numbers anymore because they don't say much about this team.
We're going to take a break right now, and as we take a break, we'll talk a little bit about the defense. A defense that early in the year was ranked number 4 or 5 in the league. Now they've given up over 400 yards each of the last 3 to 4 games. We'll be back in a moment.
Like I said, good from the start, but then after that, we just it was just bad ball. We weren't fitting the run game well. We weren't we weren't restricting lanes on the edge, and it's just that was the result. It's little things. It's guys not fitting. We're not fitting the run right, or edge. We got to do a good job of giving our guys short spaces to work with on the edge, and it's this rushing coverage working together. It's little things. It's sound defensive football like we were playing early in the year.
As I said, we're talking about a defense right now, a defense that it hasn't played well, giving up over 400 yards at least in the last 3 to 4 games. Payne played really well, but at the same time, you need the whole defense to play well. Now, I don't know how it looked to you guys on Sunday, but I tell you how it looked to me. Our defensive backfield looked like it's confused. Looked like we got players back there that do not know the scheme, and schematically, if you can't play together, it doesn't matter what the guys up front. Now, and that's the second part of that question is, have our pass rush gotten worse, better, or is it still about the same? We're not getting the proper pressure, I feel, at the proper time that we need it. So now you guys tell me, what happened to this defense, and what does this defense need to go, or where do they need to go forward?
Tony, come on. 3 to 4 weeks, so that's 5 to 6 weeks. It's more like 500 yards, quite honestly. But honestly, the defense has to play better. The offense has to play better. They have to come together. But, guys, what do they need to do to become a better team? Preparation. Just have to prepare better.
But, Gary, but the thing about it is I can understand the offense because of the injuries that they've had. But the defense, you all only had one person really that's out for the season. So you've fallen off the last 5 weeks. So I have to bring this up. Ha-ha Dix, I'm not blaming him totally, but he looks totally lost out of there. Monty Nichols, this is a guy that last year you were high up before he got hurt. He was going to make some mistakes, of course, because he's a young rookie, but he was making some plays, speed to the ball and all of that. And to me, they weren't, make me understand, before they took him out, they weren't as bad in the secondary as they are right now.
One of the things Tony talks about a lot is figuring them out. Once they're figured out, they're done. At the beginning of the year, the Redskins' defense was elite. You think they've been figured out?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I'll tell you, I agree, Donna. Monte Nicholson brought a lot of energy. Yeah. He had a lot of youthful enthusiasm. Everybody seemed to rally around this kid last year. They loved him, and then they made 2 mistakes. They brought in Ha-Ha, and they cut Orlando Scandrick, who's still starting for Kansas City. Yeah. You would have had a corner when Quentin Dunbar went out. So 2 big mistakes in the upper office.
Yeah, they just making mistakes all over the place. The effort to me, and if it's one area of this team that looks like that they had just given up on Sunday, it was the defense. Yeah. Because they've been ran on over almost 800 and some yards in the last 5 weeks, almost 2,000 total yards in the last 5 weeks. So how do you have that drop off from the first part of the season to now? Is it because that the defense had to carry the offense so long that they wore down? I don't even buy that as an excuse. It's just that they're not even playing. I'm just throwing that out there because people
why did you first of all, let me ask you, Zach Brown, he's got great speed, and you signed him to a multi-year contract after last year. You sat him down for Sean Deion Hamilton. What's going on there?
They look lost.
They do, but you have to rush the passer. Where was Ryan Kerrigan?
No. He had he was a beast the first part of the game.
He was,
but then he seemed to disappear, as did Preston.
Well, they said that this is what Ryan said. I'm taking it from his mouth. He said each individual is not playing good ball. They're not. Right. It's on each player right there. And then he was talking about the edges, as far as cutting some of those edges off, where you saw the Giants running backs get around the edges. So what he's saying is that as a team, individually, they're not doing the little things that made them good at the beginning of the season.
Well, I was just going to touch on the pass rush aspect of it. From Kerrigan's standpoint, usually you see him get a lot of sacks. You didn't see that against the Giants.
He's got 9 this year.
Right, in most games, but not against the Giants.
I thought he was a beast the first part of the game. Anyway, we've got to take a break, and I'm sure Tony will have another question for us.
Once I started looking for car insurance, it was a no-brainer. I switched to Geico and saved hundreds. That's a win. But it's not the only reason I switched. The Geico app makes it easy to manage my policy. I can pay my bill, add a new driver, or even file a claim. Woo! Hey now, that's a win-win. Thank you.
Switch to Geico. It's a win-win.
Now, I know this is out of character, guys, but I got an interview I have to do down at the Civil Rights Museum today, talking about the Wyoming Black 14. And for you fans, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that as the season progresses, telling you something each and every week. But I have some more questions for you guys. But I want to ask you guys, defensively, where do you need to make changes? What's better? What's worse? Who's playing right? Is the two Alabama Bucks still doing well? What do you guys see with this defense? And as I said, they have a slim chance for the playoffs. So what did this defense need to do to change it up a little bit?
Tony, that's an astute observation. It's clear that Deron Payne has not played a full season, being a rookie. He's in uncharted territory right now. And, of course, Jonathan Allen did not play a full season last year. He was out by game 5 or 6. So they might be somewhat winded. Matt Ioannidis is out, so that's extra work for both of those two Alabama tackles. And then, you know, Tim Settle, he hasn't played all that much either, but they might be winded.
Hey, Tony, look at my face. You know what? I'm not buying what Mike just said because they went through training camp, they went through OTAs, they went through the preseason and all this season. We're at the end of the season, so I'm not buying that because everybody at this stage should be in shape.
Conditioning, come on, Tony. Conditioning should be the thing that you know from start to finish is the most important portion of your game. I have to be able to play 4 quarters, no matter how long I'm out there. Conditioning should never be a reason why we lose a football game.
Yeah.
You got to continue forcing turnovers. That's going to be the key to the rest of their season.
We have about 40 seconds or so to talk about Jacksonville, but just real quickly, they have, statistically speaking, I know you're not big on that, Donna, they have a better offense, and Jacksonville's ranked 30th in the NFL in defense. With Josh being able to connect with these receivers and knowing the playbook, I think the Skins have a big win.
They do, but you got to protect the ball above all else.
You better just throw those numbers on out the windows. That don't even mean where they ranked and everything, because if that was the case, then the Redskins would be better off. They just got to play ball and not quit on the season because they're still in the mix.
You know what? I think Tony's got the answer. Tony always has a good tip of the week, and I think he will tell us exactly what Washington needs to do to win. And now New Faces with Adam Batacci.
Welcome to New Faces. In this week's segment, we talk about Redskins quarterback Josh Johnson. Originally from Oakland, California, Johnson was high school teammates with running back Marshawn Lynch. Look for the Redskins to feature Johnson early and often in their offense the rest of the year.
You okay there, Kurt?
We're about to move.
Karate helps relieve some of the house buying stress. At least you don't have to worry about homeowners insurance. Call Geico. Geico? Helps with homeowners insurance? Been doing it for years. I'm calling Geico right now.
Good idea.
Get to know Geico and see how easy homeowners and renters insurance can be.
Hey sports fans, 2-time Super Bowl champion Gary Clark and Pacific Dental Services have joined up to bring Redskin fans a chance to win free NFL Legend experiences. Go to www.garyclarkinc.com/fans to register for a chance to win. Good luck.
The 5-7 Chicago Bears are trying to make a push towards the playoffs. Now, Aaron Rodgers still think that they can make the playoffs. They're in 3rd place in the division. Well, this week they'll take to the road to play the red-hot Chicago Bears, who are coming off a big win over the Rams. They held them, that dominant defense held them to 6 points and Todd Gurley to 38. Now, they got their starting quarterback back, too. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, you are not making the playoffs this year. Pick Chicago.
We have Tampa traveling to Baltimore. Both teams are playing kind of like, okay, Tampa put in a good effort. Baltimore always puts in a good effort. So if I'm me, I'm just going to go with the home team. Pick Baltimore to win.
The Minister of Information here. Once again, you see I'm finishing the show. Got to thinking about this game. I've been pondering all day. What game is this? Talk about Philadelphia going to L.A. Woo, both of them are kind of in trouble right now, but L.A. is only in trouble because they can't play in cold weather. But at the same time, they're a much better team. Philadelphia, the Washington Redskins, all you fans need them to lose. And I mean lose big, because right now, believe it or not, the Washington Redskins have an opportunity. Philadelphia is not as good as L.A., so if you pick them, pick L.A. Don't pick Philly. Nobody wants any cheesesteak right now anyway.
Welcome to the Sports Bar Challenge. In this week's game, we have the Eagles traveling to L.A. to play the Rams in California. Crystal City Restaurant likes the Rams. Crystal City Sports Pub likes the Rams. Greavy's likes the Rams. Hard Times Cafe of Fairfax likes the Rams. Harry's Ale House in Fredericksburg likes the Rams. And Nando's Peri Peri Chicken likes the Rams. Look for this to be a high-scoring game between two very potent offenses, but pick the Rams at home. I like L.A. by double digits.
On this What's Bugging Me in the NFL segment this week, we had a lot of great people that gave us a lot of great videos, but I'm going to take this as myself. What's bugging me about the NFL season is the players giving a lack of effort throughout the course of the game. You got DBs who are chasing down running backs or receivers going in the end zone. The receivers or running back starts to jog, and then the defensive back starts to jog. They can tackle them on the 1 yard, or 2 yard line, or 3 yard line, and they don't. They just give up. You can't play this game at this level if you're ever going to give up. So what's bugging me this season about the NFL is lack of effort by professionals. That's what's bugging me about this NFL season.
Tony, good news. The Redskin Magazine Inc. Minority Scholarship Contest is back again this year, and we're encouraging all seniors to submit essays on the subject. Do you think the Voting Rights Act of 1965 impacts your rights today? Why or why not? And you can submit your essays to redmagplus.com. Once on the website, you go to Youth Sideline. That gives you all the instructions on the essay, how to submit it, and all we can say is they're great prizes, so best of luck to all the writers out there.
It is through our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light again. I would love for you to pick up my book, Getting to the Other Side of Victory. If not for yourself, a loved one, or a friend, pick it up for someone that's going through a tough time. You can purchase it on both Amazon and Barnes & Noble in both paperback or ebook. For my autographed copy, go to my website at www.donnajhopkins.com and help someone get to the other side of victory.
Well, in closing, you know one thing, the Washington Redskins, they're not out of it yet. They must continue to try to improve each and every week. Forget about the injuries. Forget about the misplays and the mistakes. Do your job right now. Get into the playoffs, and it's a whole new year. So when we come back next week, hope you come back here with me. Until then, in the minute.